Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever part of the globe you are all currently in. It is evening time here for me in Ireland, and we've actually had some sunshine today, which is a very rare event for us these days. The reason we're green as a country is we get plenty of rain, but we'll have all that changed, hopefully by the time you get to come here the year after this. But to the present, to this afternoon, and the purpose of this webinar, as conference chair for the 2024 annual conference, I'm excited to kickstart today's webinar. However, before I begin, as the proverb goes, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a dedicated team of tourism practitioners and academics to plan a TTRA conference. More importantly, it takes some very special and creative people to spearhead the planning of the annual conference, and I would like to personally acknowledge the stellar work done by Blount and Whitney Knollenberg as co-chairs of this year's event. And I would also like to thank Kathy and Treeline for all their assistance in organising Burlington 2024 and keeping us all on track. But to today's webinar, which is designed to whet your appetites for what promises to be a wonderful conference, this year's conference programme and structure has been informed by feedback we have received from past annual conferences. Indeed, we have used your valuable feedback on past annual conferences to create an even better one in 2024. So some of the highlights of this conference that you're going to get to see and hear about today include more first-time speakers, more collaboration between practitioners and academics, more international speakers and topics of interest to our international audience, and not forgetting the much-valued networking that is a signature of all our events, and more, which means more opportunities to meet and share experiences, ideas, and create memories, which is something we all do as we travel around the world. Another important highlight that Kathy's asked me to mention is for all of us attending this year's conference, if you're staying in the conference hotel, we each get a $10 voucher every day. And what I'm really excited about is those vouchers can be redeemed at the bar. So I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you to share a drink and create some of those wonderful memories once we all do it in moderation so we actually can remember the following day what we talked about. That's the key. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over a thing to Anna, and we'll take it from here. We'll work through this webinar and hopefully get you all worked up and excited for what's promising to be a very, very good event.
Thank you so much. Sean. We really appreciate it. But I think what everyone wants to hear about first is how wonderful Burlington is.
Oh, absolutely.
Pleased to introduce Jeff Lawson from Hello Burlington. He's going to tell you all about the fun you're going to have at the conference. And then Whitney and I will discuss highlights of the actual conference sessions. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. As Anna mentioned, I'm Jeff Lawson. I'm the director of Hello Burlington, the regional DMO. If you've never heard of Burlington before, we cannot tell you how excited we are to have you coming in the summertime. We're a very small town up in the northwest corner of Vermont. In fact, we're Vermont's largest city, but you will find that that doesn't really mean that much in modern terms. We're about 45,000 in population. About 12,000 of those, actually a little closer to 10, is actually university students when they're in session. Burlington's a remarkably young city. Average age is about 27. We're nestled on the shores of Lake Champlain, which, depending on who you ask, is either the 6th or the 8th largest body of water in North America. We're also tucked between the Green Mountains that you can see in the background of this photograph and the Adirondacks of New York that you'll see in some ensuing photographs. So when we say that we have great proximity to outdoor activities, understand that means both mountains and water. And I should be able to walk you through just a little bit of the options that you'll have there once you do come up. I do also want to say we're a northern climate. We're closer to Montreal than we are to any major American city. And like a lot of northern climate cities, the fun really gets started, unless you're a hardcore skier or rider, when the sun comes out around June, when you guys will be arriving. So you're coming at the very, very best time to visit the city, and it's going to be popping off to welcome you, I'm sure. Anna, you can go ahead and push that slide if you're ready. For a small town, we definitely punch well above our weight in terms of arts, culture, and nightlife. For a town of 45,000, we have absolutely no right to have the music scene that we do. We just got lucky in that we're perched between Montreal and New York and Montreal and Boston. So large regional and national touring acts make a very comfortable stop at this college town that's right in between them. We do have a bunch of great concert series, two of which are right on the waterfront that you're seeing right there. I think there actually is a Green Sky Bluegrass concert on the far end of your stay on Thursday or Friday. So anyone who wants to stay a little later and go down to Shelburne Museum to check that out. Also looking out over Lake Champlain, I would highly suggest that. You'll also find throughout the city, there's a lot of great little small venues that are having live music throughout the time that you'll be in town, and a lot of great street performers as well who will just be trickling out onto the streets around that time in early June when you guys get here and arrive. So we'd love to have you experience some of the live music and nightlife while you're here. Anna, go ahead and ping me when you're ready. I think this is a different slide, so I'm going to totally ad-lib it from here. As I mentioned on my as I was saying before, you're going to be sitting right on Lake Champlain, which is one of the deepest and biggest bodies of water in North America. Much of our sort of life and perception of things revolves around Lake Champlain because it is a very big body of water. A lot of people actually refer to us as the west coast of New England, both in terms of our culture as well as our position. Anna, go ahead and push this one forward and let's see if I got the one up. I'm going to go right into it. Sorry. I did want to talk a little bit about the mountains, so I'm just going to throw that in. We actually do have really close proximity to the Green Mountains. If you do like to hike, you should definitely get out and get into the Green Mountains. From the corner of Church and Main, you can get to Bolton Valley, for example, which has some of the best backcountry skiing and also some great hiking opportunities nearby in probably about 35 to 45 minutes. You'll have a chance to do that in one of the tours that's coming at the end of your stay here that we'll talk about a little bit later. You can also move down south to Mount Philo State Park. Sorry, there's a little echo if someone could maybe mute a microphone. To Mount Philo State Park, and also some great hiking opportunities at Red Rocks, and as well as the Island Line Trail, which is for biking. This shot here is actually the Spirit of Ethan Allen. There will be a welcome reception on this cruise ship, the only cruise ship that goes out on Lake Champlain. That welcome reception will take you out into the middle of the lake, out toward New York. We'll circle Juniper Island, which you can just see in the background against the high peaks region of the Adirondacks there. There's a lot of interesting Revolutionary War history we'll be able to take in there too, and that cruise does cover some of that. A lot of people don't realize the Revolutionary War actually did have naval battles on it. Many of them happened on Lake Champlain in areas that you'll be actually able to see and go right through on that boat, which is fantastic. And actually, Anna, go right ahead and let's keep moving on. I did want to talk a little bit briefly about the Church Street Marketplace that a lot of people have heard of before. The marketplace is a 4-block long pedestrian walkway. There's obviously no cars since it's pedestrian. It's based on the marketplace called the Scroget of Copenhagen and was built in 1981. There's about 100 locally owned stores along the marketplace. You'll find that Burlington has a tremendous amount of local pride. One of the only largest cities in any state to not have a McDonald's. For example, it's been taken over by a locally owned restaurateur who's got a great operation going. You'll stumble into Farmhouse and some of the other fantastic restaurants that are there. And then off Church Street, you'll find fantastic shopping, retail opportunities. I definitely encourage you to get out there and explore a little bit as best you can. And Anna, go right ahead when you're ready. And the last thing I'm going to bring up is the Ben & Jerry's factory tour. A lot of people know Vermont by Ben & Jerry's. A lot of people don't realize that Ben & Jerry's actually got their start in a renovated gas station on St. Paul Street across from City Hall Park. You will walk by that site multiple times while you're going back and forth in Burlington. We have a really tight affinity for not just the Ben & Jerry's ice cream here, but also the ethos of people, planet, and then profit coming in third place. Ben & Jerry's put down a marker, and you'll find a lot of our locally owned companies, whether they're as big as Seventh Generation, which is another Unilever subsidiary, or new startup mom and pops, do the 3 Ps every time they're rolling out a business plan, which is super inspiring. Just to make an example of that, 1% for the Planet is actually headquartered in Burlington and has been since its inception, and will hopefully be here for the rest of all of our lives. I did want to mention this because you'll be going down to see the factory tour and experience the factory down in Waterbury on Thursday, which is the last day of your trip here. That's a great factory tour. You'll get a quick 5 to 7 minute recap video of the company's history, which has some great information in it, and also be able to see their production process. I don't know if they still do it, but you used to be able to get soft serve ice cream off the Ben & Jerry's production line before it hits the cold freezer. If they do that, absolutely take part. It's the best ice cream you will ever have in your life. You'll also be able to check out the Flavor Graveyard. where they put out to pasture those really weird, eccentric flavors they come up with for brief periods of time and then never make again. So enjoy yourselves there. And I think I'm past my time already, so I'll just say goodbye. Not goodbye. I'll be here for any questions afterward. But we're really thrilled you're coming. And thanks so much for taking a minute to hop on this preview webinar.
Thank you so much. We're very much looking forward to coming to Burlington. We wanted to make sure you knew all about Burlington before you found out when you come into the hotel, into the conference areas, what kind of sessions that you're going to experience. Now it's going to be Whitney and I. So we're first going to start talking about the overall general sessions that there's no counter programming, that everybody's going to come to, academic and practitioners alike. Then we're going to talk about some of the highlights of the practitioner sessions. And again, only some. We have such an amazing agenda, and we hope that you can look on it. We really wish that we could have shared every single one because they're just phenomenal sessions. Please go online and look at our agenda if you have any other questions with that. And then Whitney will talk about the academic sessions that she and her committee have done such a spectacular job at hosting for you. Whitney, you're up first.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Jeff, I just want to give you a shout out. I think you've got an absolutely fantastic job. And while I do not get to talk about ice cream and a flavor graveyard of ice cream, which I now definitely have to visit, I do get to talk about my second favorite thing, which is the destination roundtables. This is always one of my favorite parts of our TTRA conferences, whether we are in Marketing Outlook Forum or international. And this is just a really, really great space for our practitioners to come together and have an open conversation about the topics that are particularly important and relevant to them. This is definitely one of the highlights of the networking opportunities for our attendees. So particularly if we have any emerging leaders or new professionals who are just maybe attending for the first time, this is a really great space to sit down with your peers and have a conversation about those questions that you really need to have answered. So be sure you start off your TTRA experience strong and make it to our morning destination roundtable session.
Now we're going to start talking about the keynotes. So our opening keynote for the whole conference, we are so excited about this one. This session, sponsored by our friends at Omnitract, and we're grateful for that sponsoring as well, is going to be Liz Ortiguera. And Liz is amazing. She's a first-time TTRA speaker. She is the first female president of the Pacific Asia Travel Association. And now she's the World Travel and Tourism Council's first ever managing director of Asia Pacific. And she's also a senior advisor to the CEO of the WTTC. Liz is going to share with us her own personal journey, how she emerged as the right kind of leader for this new post-pandemic era of tourism, and how all of us can benefit from the insights that she's gained along the way. But this is not the only session that Liz is going to take part in. She's immediately going to join a panel on regenerative tourism that's led by TTRA board member Jen Chun, who is also, in all of her spare time, the director of tourism research for Hawaii. And so they are going to have this wonderful panel about the power of regenerative tourism, going beyond sustainability and really making a difference beyond just easy things to be able to say. How can we really bring this into the forefront and bring ourselves into the future of tourism? Whitney? You're on mute, babe.
There we go. Now it's official. We're on Zoom. Someone was on mute. So we're also looking forward to introducing a new form of session for our general sessions this year. This Think Tank Incubator Collaboration session is something that you can look forward to on Wednesday afternoon. This is, to me, what really embodies TTRA as an organization. This is going to be an opportunity for us to have the best and brightest minds in tourism research together in one room, all thinking about where we want to take tourism research next. So we are excited to have academics at the table, whether that's a senior, tenured professor sitting next to a PhD student, as well as our practitioner partners, our vendors, all together in one space, focusing on topics that we collectively can work on to contribute to the new think tank initiative through TTRA. So you'll hear a little bit more about those in just a few minutes when Anna highlights one of them that will be in the session. But this is going to be your opportunity to really just carve out some time in your schedule, sit down and think about where you want to go with your research with some of the people who are also interested in going in that direction with you. So the way that this is going to work is we'll have 45 minutes together in this general session. You'll be asked ahead of the conference to complete a very short survey that includes some topics that we are going to sort of seed as opportunities to think about in this session, and you'll have the opportunity to contribute your ideas as well. You'll come into this session and you'll be assigned a table related to those topics. You'll sit at this table with others who are interested in that topic, and we'll give you some very high-level guiding questions just to think about where could you take this research topic and really start to develop a study around it, resources that we can share through TTRA, and utilize the TTRA think tank structure to actually bring both academic expertise and practitioner expertise together to conduct a research project together. And this is going to just be a really great space for us to think together, to work together, to maybe make some new friends and new colleagues, and to really put into practice what TTRA is all about, which is conducting the best possible tourism research that we can. So please get this on your calendar. Make sure that you've come ready, energized, and prepared to think about how you can contribute to our next TTRA think tank.
This is one I am super excited about. Joshua Freelander, the new vice president of U.S. Travel Association, is going to make his main stage debut with us in beautiful Burlington in June. Joining him on stage for a fireside chat is going to be Chelsea Ruby, the West Virginia Department of Tourism Cabinet Secretary. Chelsea is amazing. For those who haven't met her, she's amazingly approachable. She's very into data and details. So she's someone who understands how data is used, like from going into the platforms herself and pulling her own information to using that information strategically and also using it for advocacy as well. Joshua is going to share some of his insights coming from another industry, the recording industry, which is amazing. Where he's going right now, they're in the process of reimagining how research is going to help destinations and the U.S. travel community. He's going to talk about like where he is in that work in progress, and really hopefully both these people can connect with you through the conference. And we're so excited. It's going to be a real conversation, no slides. We're hoping that you're going to be able to get to know these two amazing travel leaders in our space, and that you'll really be able to kind of see where we're going and how researchers like us can best serve our communities and people who are delivering this research and data too, and how we can be a really even more vibrant part of the community. Embracing neurodiversity, unlocking the power of autism awareness in travel and tourism. It's a shame that John Pico can't be presenting this one because this is his passion project. I've been so impressed watching him bring this panel together. He's really this is something that's dear to his heart. It's something Anaheim is really embracing. They're earlier on their journey. Part of this panel is going to include Allison Brooks. Allison Brooks, she spearheaded Visit Mesa to become the first autism accessibility certified destination. Also on this panel is going to be Meredith Teakin. She is the executive director of IBCCES. They are a certification agency for these sort of things for autism awareness. This is a panel of experts, guys. We have a special guest star that you're going to have to go to the agenda to be able to see. We want you to get to that website to be able to see all this as well. But we have a special guest star, someone who is succeeding in life with autism and wants to share that with you, and how we can work to be a welcoming place for everybody who's coming to our destination, and really learn how that we can serve all of our communities as well. If you didn't see your emails in LinkedIn yesterday, we have a fantastic opportunity as well. If you're able to come in Monday afternoon for this session, we're having a 3-hour workshop. These phenomenal leaders in this industry are going to spend this time. They're going to talk about their experiences that they had, getting that autism, becoming aware, getting community partners, getting people on board. All these kind of things that are so essential for it. Like, how did you do it? It's really not that intimidating. It's possible. You don't have to go to the TTRA conference to be able to go to this. So if there are non-researchers or anyone who really wants to be able to get that first step into autism awareness and serving this community better at a destination, please just take this workshop, look at the emails, go to LinkedIn, reach out to one of us who are leading this webinar. We would love for you to have a part in that. Whitney?
Right. Another general session that I'm very excited about is Shaping the Future of Tourism with Generative AI. And there is no one better to be leading this session than Jeanette Rush from NYC and Company. She is truly a thought leader in this space. If you've seen Jeanette speak in other conferences, you know that she is just terrific, really engaging, I myself am still a little scared and mystified by AI, and Jeanette always just makes it really, really engaging, interesting. She's very honest about the challenges and the opportunities that come along with AI. And she is going to bring some really great examples from the work that she has been doing with NYC Tourism, particularly in terms of creating campaign strategy, punching up copy for corporate documents, creating sales reports, CVent and Simple View data, as well as analyzing survey data. So there's going to, not just be sort of a rose-colored glasses view to this. She's also going to talk about some potential pitfalls with using AI, and will really just leave you walking away feeling empowered to start small, experiment strategically, which I just love. That's such a great way to think about this. How do you be strategic and figuring out what works for you with AI? To really find how you can harness AI to shape your DMO success. So this is going to be a really engaging session. Look forward to hearing from Jeanette and where she's thinking we should be going with AI.
Another general session that we're really happy to share with you is Local Voices Lasting Impact. This is going to focus on Fort Myers resident quality of life surveys and strategic vision for their community. This panel is going to be led by Joseph St. Germain of Downs and St. Germain Research, and feature two of the best people that I know in Lee County, the Lee County VCB right here. You're going to see Tamara and also Roberta. Also featured on this is going to be Clarity of Places, Tina here. Again, this panel is going to be great. So basically, how do you have a strategic vision? How do you use data and research to be able to fuel that, to better connect with your community and your residents? And don't forget, the Lee County was hit by a hurricane. They have had natural disasters before. So they're doing all of this work on top of recovery and and just real revitalization of their community. It's important. It's stuff that can happen no matter what. But how do you face that? How do you become better partners with the community? How do you come together for the betterment of every single household in your community and use tourism to actually do that? So please join us for this session, and it's going to be amazing. And finally, for the general sessions that we're highlighting today in this webinar, we're going to talk about the data storytelling showdown. Competition equals progress, and we all have had a problem. We've all looked for data or research to actually solve it. We've all had to put together some stuff, a storyline. We've had to put together things about how to communicate what the problem is and how we think we should solve it and what evidence supports how we do that. And the people here, other than Ted and Michael on this slide, are the ones who are going to be doing that in 6-minute increments. So thank you so much to all these wonderful talents in the destination research space. They are going to tell their story, how they identified an obstacle, how they used research and data to approach it, and what the outcomes of that were. Visit Dallas's Michael Radowski and Ted Sullivan from Zydeco will also be the ringleaders of this, so to speak. And everybody in the audience is going to have their choice to vote for the best story that's given, and we'll crown the winner at the end of the session. So this will be a fun way to end TTRA right before, of course, not exactly the ending. It's going to be right before we all get on the bus to go on the Ben and Jerry's tour. But this is a really invigorating way to end the conference. There we go.
All right.
Oh, no. Next is me. We're going to start talking about the practitioner sessions, Mother Nature and data. So this is going to be a great session. Everybody was crazy about the eclipse. We actually designed data just for the conference, working with Datafy. Our friends at Hello Burlington, Tom Carlton, they were tracking people and comparing it to the years previous about visitation on there. It's going to make its research debut on this stage. And as much as I love an eclipse as a Floridian, I also like to know other things about nature, how you're planning with nature, how nature is influencing you. So we are absolutely thrilled to have Narissa on stage from Martin County Office of Tourism and Marketing. She's going to share how beach nature really plays a part in how Mother Nature is helping their destination move forward. Next, remember the think tanks that we talked about. Our second think tank is going to be the U.S. Tourism Workforce. This is led by San Diego Tourism Authority's Nathan Kelly, with a large assist from a number of partners in both academic as well as the practitioner side of TTRA. Some of those include Texas A&M University and Downs and St. Germain Research, who is sponsoring this session, and we're grateful for that. For this session, this is custom research, guys. This is a brand new study. It's going to result in a white paper, and you're going to see it first. We're doing a study. We're doing a survey of the workforce that is in the United States in the travel and tourism industry, and we're also sizing and having the real impact of this. We are going to have another session the next day, which is going to be practical applications of workforce. How do you attract them? How do you make the jobs more desirable? All of those things are going to be discussed in a follow-up practical application session at our conference. Embracing research and content marketing. This one I couldn't be more excited about. Florian Herman, my dear friend, he's going to talk about the initiatives that he has worked on for the fact that you have tourism in more rural areas. How do we identify data for that? How do we actually look at the insights in there to make great strategic decisions to help all of our partners, not just the large one, but the ones who are dealing with a little bit more of a challenge in a less urban area? Florian, no one does this better than Florian, and he's going to be on stage again with two people who he has worked with in order to investigate this area for you. These are going to be great case studies that you'll be able to go home and have some great ideas from moving forward. How to succeed globally post-COVID. This session's amazing. Have leaders with states throughout. I mean, you just look at this. Scott Johnson is the one who organized this for us and came up with this wonderful idea. We're having Louisiana, Maine, and Texas all on board talking about international visitation and how to have effective research-based strategies. In the post-COVID world, we definitely need to be able to best market how it is now and bring back all of the international travelers. That's already beginning, but we can do better. So how do we look at specific research in these disparate states? How do we identify markets? How do we identify what kind of communications and plans we could make? This session is going to give you a lot of ideas. So no matter what kind of geography you're looking at, these people are going to give you some real great things to take home with on how to use data and research as effectively as possible. Demystifying measurement for special tourism districts. We are really excited about this session. As everyone knows, with the ever increasing need for destination marketing organizations to advocate for themselves, it's no surprise that there's been an expansion of these special tourism districts. But once you have one, what do you do? So please join us for this amazing breakout session where we're going to have Adara Tourism Economics and Visit Tampa Bay. They're going to discuss the creation, measurement, and sustainability of these special districts. In this conversation, we're going to have an overview of how these districts have come to be and why they're so popular, how to measure visitation and spending within the special tourism districts, how you can tie your marketing efforts to them, and how to ensure the districts are renewed so you can continue those successes. Finally, on the highlights, we're going to talk about researching the future of travel, the youth segment. For the first time in quite a number of years, we are bringing the Student, Youth, and Travel Association back to the stage. What makes me really excited about this session, the Student, Youth, and Travel Association has great research. They're going to be sharing that research with you on stage, so you'll be able to see this. Because again, when we're looking at students and youth, it's a quarter of all travelers in the United States, but we're just not getting that information. This is going to help fill a gap for you to better understand what these young people are looking for in travel and what they actually want to have. So having this ability to talk about that, but it's going to go beyond research, guys. Look at the people who are on this board. You're going to be having on stage and being able to have questions and answers to people who are actually leading these groups, people who are on field and they're having this experience. So you're going to see data. You're going to have one-on-one conversations with people who are leading the groups. It's going to be a great way to truly understand youth and student travel. So for you to be able to take advantage of this market moving forward and to better serve them and to get more of them to come to the destinations that you're advocating for. Leave it over to Whitney.
All right, Anna, thank you so much. And I'm really excited about so many of those practitioner sessions. They're, I think, just bringing some really cutting edge and exciting concepts to us. And I think our academic counterpoints are going to do the same. So the way I'm going to work through these next few slides, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the different types of academic sessions that you can expect to see at TTRA. And there's going to be some classics, but also some new approaches to these academic sessions. So I'm really excited to see not only a really diverse and interesting array of topics, but also some new ways of presenting those exciting topics for you to enjoy. So we'll start out with the Ideas Fair, which is our visual presentations feature. This is always a great place for you to engage with researchers who are starting to establish a new research line. They might be trying out some new ideas or new methodologies. And it's really just, I think, the best way for you to have a one-on-one conversation with academics who are working in this space. So you can expect to see some of the traditional sort of posters with this, where someone is going to be able to point to that poster and talk you through the research that they are presenting. But you're also going to see some unique approaches using different visual methodologies in this session. So you can definitely expect to have lots of time to talk with the presenters. Again, that's a real highlight for this session is you're not just waiting for them to finish their presentation in 15 minutes and then maybe have a couple questions at the end. You really get to talk one-on-one with those presenters for as long as you'd like. So if you're interested in some of the topics that will be listed on the website for this shortly, you can kind of scope that out, see who you want to talk to, and make sure you visit them during the Ideas Fair for those visual presentations.
And before you go further, this is also going to be a reception sponsored by Longhorns.
Thank you, Anna.
And thank you for Downs and St. Germain. There's also going to be a signature cocktail in addition to the regular things we serve. It will also feature a signature cocktail. So please join us, have a conversation, have some fun. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. We really, really appreciate those sponsors making this a really elevated event. We're also looking forward to bringing back the Qualitative Research Methods Workshop, which I believe we are now in our 12th year of doing the Qualitative Research Methods Workshop, which really scares me because I helped start the first one and I can't believe it's been that long. That's amazing though, and it's stronger than ever. We actually had a record number of submissions for this workshop this year, and so it's really cool to see your little baby grow up and be the great, amazing element of our program that we look forward to every year. This will be sort of the kickoff to some of the academic sessions that you'll see on Tuesday. And what I really love about this session is, again, it is very conversation focused. There are no PowerPoint slides here. I promise you, no death by PowerPoint. You will sit at a round table with the presenter who will, here's a concept, talk to you about their research in a conversational style. And that is going to be, it's always a lot of fun. This session, you always see cutting edge research that's really pushing the boundaries in terms of methodology and findings. So definitely get that on your agenda as a great way to start your conference. For the majority of our presentations, however, on the academic side of things, we will be having oral presentations. And there are 3 different tracks for this year. This is where you're going to see some new opportunities to engage with our academic presenters. The majority of our presentations will be in the traditional format of 15-minute PowerPoint presentation followed by questions. And this is a really great way to get the depth of a full study from start to finish. Typically, these studies are going to be those that have data collected and findings to share. So again, you're going to see some really unique content here, some different ways to think about new topics in research. One that I'm really excited about is a standardized methodology for cleaning GIS data, which might not sound so exciting to you until you open up a GIS data set and you go, what the heck is this? So you're going to have some really cool things like that, that it's just going to be a really great place to learn about the kind of research that our members are doing. So traditional sessions, you'll see several of those, but you are also going to see sessions that are marked as conversational sessions. And in case you haven't figured it out, I'm a talker. I like to talk. So I am giving my peers the opportunity to talk about their research in a little bit longer form session than the Qualitative Research Methods Workshop. And this can be content that is any form of data, qualitative, quantitative, secondary data. And the presenters have been asked to use a specific format of a slide deck to keep things sort of standardized so we're all on the same page. And they're really going to use like a think, pair, share format to get the audience engaged with the presentation. So, you might want to have a little bit of coffee or, have a snack before you come into these conversational sessions, because you as an audience member are going to be asked to be a part of that conversation. And I, for me, really find that just helps you learn and engage with that content a lot more. So if you're ready to jump in there and share your ideas, please join us for some of those conversational sessions in the academic tracks. And lastly, this probably is what I am most excited about with our academic sessions are the collaboration sessions. For many, many years, all the years that I've attended TTRA International, I've always sort of lamented that we don't have a space to really highlight the incredible collaborations that our academic and practitioner members are doing together. And we finally have that space in this academic track this year. We put a special call out for presenters to really highlight, as academics, how they are engaging with practitioners in tourism. And we have some absolutely phenomenal, I think it'll be about 9 presentations featuring these collaborations from all over different aspects, everything from the Black travel movement to retirement in tourism to rural tourism development, that are really going to showcase what these academic and practitioner partnerships can look like. And to me, there is just no better space for that than TTRA. And if you are an academic or practitioner interested in learning how you can be a part of those partnerships, you are going to get to learn from some of the best in these collaboration sessions. So look for that as a way, not just to learn about really great research, but to also learn about the really great partnerships that TTRA is all about.
So just to let you know again, please go and see the agenda on the conference website. We, unlike Marketing Outlook Forum, we do have breakout sessions. We have main stage session. We have general practitioner sessions. There's a lot of content for you at any given moment on the 2.5 days of this conference. We went out of our way. We listened to your feedback, as Sean mentioned at the beginning of this webinar. We're doing this to help you. We have new speakers, new kind of vendors, new collaborations. We have a lot of different panels. We have a lot of case studies. If you're an academic, if you're a vendor, if you are a DMO practitioner, this is the place for you to come and share ideas and to get inspiration moving forward as we navigate the post-COVID world. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this to Sean to be able to do some question and answer if anyone has any questions, and then we'll be able to close it, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Anna, and thank you, Whitney, for giving us a little taster there of what we can all expect when we get to go to Burlington in June. So at this stage, we will open up to anybody that might have a question. I don't pretend to know all the answers. If I don't have the answer myself, I have enough very bright people on the call here, I'm sure, who will be able to answer your questions for you. So rather than shouting over each other, maybe if you raise your hand, should be able to see you then, and then I can call you out and ask you to ask your question.
My question is for Jeff. Jeff, I am a foodie, and I am very much looking forward to coming to Burlington because I know y'all do food better than almost anywhere else. Where's a place that is just like an absolute must-do for dinner in Burlington?
Absolute must-do in Burlington. You should definitely check out helloburlington.com to see the restaurant section. Hen of the Wood is the one restaurant that is kind of at the very tippy top. It's right around the corner from the Hilton. Make reservations in advance if you're interested in that. It's definitely probably our priciest restaurant and definitely the one restaurant that always meets up to expectations. I'd also suggest we've got a new restaurant called Frankie's coming in, which will be opening up actually in a couple of weeks. And it's the former general manager and the sous chef from Hen of the Wood who have just moved up the street and have put up a new shingle. You can check out Poco on Main Street, which is just kind of global street food, which I think is fantastic. Taco Gordo, if you really want to get into the neighborhood up in the old North End, definitely worth an Uber, or just if it's a nice summery day, just walk on up. Burlington's amazingly walkable. It may look far on the map, but there's nothing far here. So even better yet, jump on a bike and head up there.
Love it. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that.
Okay, so we have a question for, and apologies in advance for how I might pronounce this person's name. Jalaler, I think it is, has asked, what if a conversational style presentation audience do not participate? Maybe you could elaborate a bit about that.
Hey, Dolly, how you doing? Thanks for your question. Appreciate it. So we will have a moderator in that session who's ready to help engage the audience in that conversation. And I am confident that you are going to have folks participating in that space. This is, again, like an audience that's ready for this and ready to go. And the moderator will be there, and we'll be certainly talking that up as a way that people are to engage with the speaker. That'll be kind of something that we're talking about in housekeeping notes and things like that. But I really appreciate that. And Jolly is one of our presenters in that conversational style session. So we look forward to feedback from our presenters on that and how we can continue to evolve that kind of session as we go forward too.
And again, if there are so many different kinds of sessions that are running at the same time, please go to the agenda. Please take a look at it. For when we're having breakout sessions at any given time, there'll be 2 practitioner breakout sessions and 3 academic track sessions. So if there's one that you're not so interested in, there's going to be another one in that time block that you will completely be interested in. So we tried to work really hard this year to make sure that the content was varied, that it was something that could be there for everyone. We also, once you go to the conference, we welcome your feedback to make our next one even better. So, which will be in Europe, guys. So in case you're like thinking that, next year, TTRA annual will be in Europe. Okay.
So, question from Cindy. I'm not familiar with Burlington, but if my flight lands at midnight, would there be any Uber taxi easy to get? So Jeff, maybe as the local there, you might be able to answer that.
You should be able to get an Uber. Honestly, Cindy, I would suggest that you plan ahead and maybe schedule that in advance just to save yourself a little bit of time. Depending on where you're staying to, I assume would be the host hotel property, the Hilton, or which would be Hotel Champlain at that time. I don't think have a shuttle at this moment, but if you go the Uber route, you should be okay.
Please note as well, we were serious when we said local voices. We have a number of presenters that are from Burlington, from the state of Vermont. We also have some vendors who live in Vermont that are going to there as well. We'll work to identify some of those people as experts. So if you have a question, you can go to Jeff or a member of his team, so you can feel very comfortable with going there. Burlington is an incredible welcoming place, and we will make sure that you have the connections you need to feel comfortable going there.
Right.
Would you like to wrap it up, Sean?
Sure. I mean, it's as Whitney said, sometimes it's hard to get, first person makes a question, then all of a sudden, everybody else jumps on board. So one last chance, if there's a burning question that you feel you haven't had a chance to ask, type it into the chat there. And failing that, I look forward to seeing you all in Burlington in June. I'm very excited to go there. It's one of my favorite states in the United States. So looking forward to seeing you all. It's going to be a fantastic conference. Share it with your friends, particularly those colleagues of yours that maybe are not familiar with TTRA or not familiar with our conferences. So be a champion for this event, because I know it is going to be stellar. We've had the eclipse, but we're going to shoot for the stars in terms of what this event is going to achieve for all of us. So really, really looking forward to seeing you all there.